As SpaceX eagerly awaits approval from the Forest and Wildlife Services for the upcoming Starship orbital flight, they're not letting any time go to waste. The company has filed an application with the FCC, or Federal Communications Commissions, seeking permission to communicate with Starship during the test. According to the filing, the Starship test campaign is set to kick off in January, marking a crucial step forward in SpaceX's journey to develop the world's largest rocket in Boca Chica, Texas. This upcoming test will feature several significant upgrades, with a highlight being the hot stage separation, where the second stage Starship will detach from the first stage while in flight. Regarding the FCC filing, it was recently greenlit, covering a 6-month period starting from January 27, 2024. However, unlike an earlier filing related to the second Starship test flight, this one is more focused. The previous filing in May encompassed the first stage booster, the launch pad, the entire Starship vehicle, and the second stage. The current filing, on the other hand, specifically seeks FCC authorization to communicate with the Starship booster and the launch site. Depending on whether SpaceX has submitted other applications, this might indicate that they're planning tests that aren't orbital in nature. Alternatively, there could be separate requests with the FCC for clearance regarding the complete vehicle and flight. However, there's a small hiccup in the process. U.S. Fish and Wildlife officials have yet to officially review SpaceX's upgrades post-Starship's first launch in April. This delay could potentially push back the next launch window by months, an update that is likely not what anyone is looking forward to. There has been a lot of excitement for the launch as of late, and a delay of this kind would certainly leave a sour taste in the mouths of many. The agency still needs to assess SpaceX's plans to operate a water deluge system during the next Starship rocket launch, a process that could take anywhere from 30 to 135 days, as mentioned in an email to Bloomberg News. Musk himself expressed frustration, tweeting, "That is unacceptable. It is absurd that SpaceX can build a giant rocket faster than they can shuffle paperwork." Musk's frustration is certainly understandable, especially considering that Starship isn't just the largest rocket in the world. It also has the most engines on a first-stage booster. With an incredible 33 Raptor 2 engines fueling it, Starship presents an unmatched display of power. When all these engines light up at the same time for a flight, it creates a sight like no other, making it stand out from all other operational or developmental rockets worldwide. Now, focusing on the upcoming second Starship test flight, it's shaping up to be a remarkable event. In a surprising turn of events, SpaceX has reinstalled the hot staging ring at the top of the first stage booster. This move is especially intriguing as just last week, the ring was removed, leading many to speculate that SpaceX had decided to eliminate it entirely due to unknown reasons. The reinstallation of the hot staging ring is aimed at addressing the stage separation failure that occurred in the April test flight. During the last test, despite some engine failures, the rocket managed to clear the pad but somersaulted in the air multiple times before the flight termination system intervened and the rocket was destroyed. In addition to the hot staging interstage, SpaceX is making crucial upgrades to Starship's engines and engine bay. The Raptor engine by SpaceX is significantly more intricate than the Merlin engines that power the Falcon 9. It redirects all its gases back to the combustion chamber, enhancing performance and efficiency. However, this design makes the engine vulnerable to leaks, a critical concern in a 33-engine system. Hence, following the April Starship test flight, SpaceX has enhanced the valves and seals on the Raptor engines and significantly improved the fire suppression system in the engine bay to handle any accidents better. Now, while there are plans for SpaceX to expand at Cape Canaveral Kennedy Space Center, an interesting and more radical suggestion has been put forward. Eliana Sheriff, a seasoned journalist and avid SpaceX observer based in Texas, known for her YouTube channel Ellie in Space, has proposed some intriguing alternatives. She suggests that SpaceX could explore options a few miles south of the border in Mexico for a launch site. Alternatively, they could consider focusing entirely on Kennedy, Florida, which is already environmentally approved for launches, or even contemplate building a launch rig in the style of sea launch. Sheriff emphasized a crucial point, drawing on SpaceX's history. People need to understand there's a reason SpaceX tested and proved Falcon 1 from Kwajalein Atoll in the Marshall Islands in the North Pacific, measuring just 6 square miles, and well out of the way before they could launch closer to home. She highlighted that the challenge doesn't lie with Texas itself. What we really need to focus on is the continued support and efforts working in tandem between FAA, SpaceX, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to keep a better launch cadence in Texas. It would be nice to see a sense of urgency from all parties involved. But of course, once Starship gets off the ground, we'll be diving into discussions about Musk's vision of establishing a human presence on Mars, and all the possibilities and implications that come with it. Human fitness is dangerously inadequate in space or on Mars. Consider an astronaut enclosed within a suit, the ambient parameters painstakingly maintained to ensure the wearer's survival. However, the suit exists purely to simulate the terrestrial environment to which our genes have evolved over millions of years. Mars itself is a harsh, radiation-soaked, lifeless world that makes survival a colossal challenge. It's not exactly a lush garden, it's more like a celestial tomb. But here's where it gets really intriguing. Some forward-thinking minds are wondering, could we tweak our own DNA to make humans more suited for space travel and Martian life? Essentially, could we genetically sculpt astronauts to brave another world? Just to be clear, we're not cooking up a genetically enhanced astronaut in a lab as of now, at least not to the best of my knowledge. However, what was once the stuff of science fiction is slowly edging into the realm of real possibilities. Researchers are aware that radiation is a serious threat in space, potentially causing cancer and other health issues. But here's a fascinating tidbit. Chinese scientists have already made progress in genetically modifying human embryonic stem cells to develop extraordinary resistance against radiation. Given that space is teeming with energetic particles capable of DNA damage, scientists are exploring the idea of adding extra copies of the p53 gene, often referred to as the protector of the genome, due to its role in preventing cancer. Think of elephants. They possess surplus copies of p53 and are notably resistant to cancer. Perhaps our future astronauts should borrow a page from their genetic playbook. To top it off, there have been groundbreaking gene editing experiments conducted aboard the International Space Station, demonstrating the effectiveness of CRISPR technology in a space environment. This is a promising sign, hinting at potential breakthroughs on the horizon. Although there's no dedicated consortium focused on genetic engineering for astronauts just yet, maybe it's about time we seriously consider setting one up. So, what do you think? Is the second launch taking too long? Is it right to take its time with the regulatory process? Let me know in the comments, and as always, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you subscribe.